Heipä hei taas, rakkaat ystävät, ja tervetuloa uusimman Keskiympyräjakson pariin. Tällä kertaa äärimmäisen mielenkiintoinen vieras. No, ainahan meillä on mielenkiintoisia vieraita, mutta tällä kertaa on nimenomaan todella mielenkiintoinen vieras. Pelaaja, joka on herättänyt paljon keskustelua jo tässä alkukaudesta ja oikeastaan jo talven aikana, nimittäin Venetsiasta, Venezia FCstä lainalla Kotkan KTP:ssä oleva Jack de Vries saapuu tänään Keskiympyrän vieraaksi. Hän tosiaan on Kotkassa lainalla KTP, hän solmi tuon yhteistyösopimuksen Venetsian kanssa ja siellä on useita Venetsian pelaajia tällä hetkellä lainalla KTP:ssä, mutta ehkä se mielenkiintoisin nimi näistä on yhdysvaltalainen Jack de Vries, joka on urallaan ehtinyt kiertää jo monissa paikoissa, asunut myöskin Euroopassa, ollut Anderlehtin akatemiassa nuorempana, joten mielenkiintoisen urapolun hän on kulkenut ja otetaan Jack de Vries tässä kohtaa mukaan tähän jaksoon ja mies pääsee itse kertomaan, että miten näiden kaikkien vaiheiden jälkeen hän on oikein Kotkaan ja KTP:hen päätynyt ja ennen kaikkea myös miten hän on Kotkassa viihtynyt. Hello, good evening.
Hello. Good evening. How are you?
How are you? I'm good. How is things in Kotka?
Right now, we're just trying to figure out how we can get some wins going because obviously, first two games at home, only 1 point, but I don't know. It's still early. Hopefully, it kind of gets better. But uh, but yeah, we're trying to figure things out.
All right.
Mhm.
So hey, first thing I wanted to ask you, because we commentators we want to know how to pronounce different players. So is it De Vries or De Vries or how do you say it?
Um, well, it's Dutch, so De Vries is right.
All right, all
Mhm.
right. Yeah, good to hear. So you've
Mhm.
been in Kotka now for like a couple of months. How have you
Mhm.
enjoyed life there?
It's been, I mean, coming into it, I didn't really know what to expect. I knew they were going to speak better English than in Italy, which I was pretty excited about. But I mean, so far it's been great. Like it's been very relaxing. The lifestyle is very calm here, which uh kind of is in line with kind of like my lifestyle because I like to live very like a calm lifestyle, very low key. So I mean, I've really liked it. All the guys are super nice as well. The coaching staff has been very welcoming to me. So I mean, so far it's been great. Yeah, I I I I don't have enough words for it because it's just been so good. It's been a perfect like reset for me in my early career. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your background, because you were born in Ohio, but you've been living all over the place in the States and also in
Mhm.
Europe.
Yeah, so well, I was born in Ohio, and then I moved to Belgium when I was 3 years old for my dad's job. And then that's kind of where I started playing football. That's kind of where my love for football kind of started. And obviously, my dad is Dutch, so I didn't really have a choice of what sport I was going to play.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I lived there from when I was 3 to when I was 10. Um, and then back to the US, to Virginia until I was 13. And then I moved to Philadelphia, and that's kind of where I joined the Philadelphia Union Academy and kind of started my, I guess, my serious career in terms of becoming a professional and stuff like that. So yeah, I've lived in a lot of places.
Yeah. And your
Mhm.
dad's name is Raimo, and I wanted to ask, he's played football as well,
Yeah,
and Raimo is really it's a Finnish name, so does he have any Finnish
yeah,
background?
yeah. Well, yeah, his name is Finnish. He was named after a Finnish speed skater. I don't really. That's the extent of what I know about it. But yeah, I think it's kind of funny that I'm living in Finland right now, and he has a Finnish name. So yeah, we definitely, like, before I came, he was like, "Oh, you're gonna hear the name more often," because obviously it's not a very common name around the world.
Yeah.
Um, and nobody really hears it. And here I have a Finnish friend who I played with in Venezia last year, and he's like, "Oh, did you know your dad's name is Finnish?" And I was like, "Really?" And then I asked my dad about it, and he's like, "Yeah, I was named after a Finnish speed skater." So yeah, it's definitely a funny coincidence.
Yeah, yeah, it sure is.
Hmm.
So like you
Hmm.
said, you played in Philadelphia. You were in Philadelphia Union, signed there in 2019.
Hmm.
19 is was your
Hmm.
first like a professional contract. So was that
Yeah.
like a dream come true at that point?
Um. Well, it was. I mean, obviously, everybody's dream is to become a professional footballer. So, to a certain extent, yeah, it was a dream. But I think for me, especially living in Europe for the first, I guess, I mean, I don't really count the first 3 years in Ohio. So just in Europe, my dream was always to play professionally in Europe.
Mm.
So I feel like when I signed for Venezia, it was kind of like when it really hit me, like, okay, like I've made that step in my career. But it's kind of strange, like the way kind of things happen, like as you move along in life. Like when I was younger, obviously my only goal was to become a professional, but like the closer you get to it, it doesn't hit you as hard, if that makes sense. So it was just, to me, it was just kind of like a goal that I was really happy I achieved. And obviously, n- thinking back on it, I feel like that was kind of like the moment where I guess my younger self would have been like, okay, achieved your dream. But as you get older, and as your goals change, your dreams become different. So in my opinion, I never really have achieved my dream, if that makes sense. Um, I'm always kind of just like chasing more. But yeah, like you said, when I think back on it, maybe in like the off season, and I have time to think on my own, I'm like, well, I'm very lucky to be in the situation that I'm in now. Um, so yeah, definitely was kind of a dream come true.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
there was a nice interview uh, about you in Kymen Sanomat, a newspaper in
Hmm.
Kotka, that you where you told that you had this crazy story about your concussion in Philadelphia, and that sure I read
Hmm.
it, and I can imagine that it wasn't fun time at all. So can you share it again, that experience?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that was a big part in my life, just in terms of just the realization of how short and fragile a career is. Obviously, so many people want to be in our shoes, playing football as a job. But when I got that injury, a lot of thinking was going on, and honestly, I went to a pretty dark place, in terms of just looking at my future, and kind of deciding maybe it would be smart, just because of the long-term effects of a head injury, to just kind of hang boots and stop this career. Um, and then obviously, as it got better, as I talked to people, as I went to therapy and saw doctors and stuff, I saw that it was getting better. Um, and then coming back to it, I feel like everything now is just a bonus, because I'm lucky to still be playing, if that makes sense. Especially since all the things that I guess I was thinking about while I had the injury. So right now when I'm playing, I see it a lot. I get a lot less nervous, and I take it a lot, not seriously, but I see it from a different perspective now, where it's just, now I'm playing to have fun, and whatever happens happens, because at the end of the day, I'm lucky to still be playing. So I feel like in a way, even though it was a big setback, I thought from a perspective, it was a good jump in my career. I feel like I matured a lot in those 3-4 months that I was injured. So yeah, I guess that's kind of the extent of it. Of kind of like where my headspace was at during the injury and kind of where I'm at now.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that it was a big relief for you to get out of Philadelphia at that point and go to Venice.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I feel like just the day-to-day life that I was dealing with in Philadelphia, it was just kind of I was very disconnected from the team. And to be honest, I just didn't feel like a part of the team anymore. I felt like I was a little bit cast aside and given up on. So I guess this move to Venice was kind of perfect for me because it was just a fresh start, where I can and just improve my headspace as well as just my confidence. Um, so yeah, I mean, and then obviously, uh, I was lucky enough to get signed by them. I had a successful year with their U19 team, and I'm very thankful for Venice for signing me. So I feel like it was a great switch in my career, just because I feel like my career in Philadelphia, I mean, I still have a lot of love for the club. I love the guys in Philadelphia, but I just think from my career's point of view, I thought it was just best for me to leave and try to get a fresh start. So yeah, definitely very happy with my move to Venice.
Yeah, and now you are in Kotka, and we heard I mean Niko Ikävalko, the sports director in KTP, he told those stories that he asked about you, like uh, in the, like when they had to deal with Venice, and they said that it's not possible to get you in Kotka, but then something happened, and now you are there. So if you think about it, how did it go, the whole loan arrangement?
Well, it was it was kind of a strange, like the way that it came about. Like, I mean, in the football world, especially the January. Sorry, my roommate's he's making jokes right now. Yeah, I mean, the loan arrangement was very was very because football is such a weird job in terms of like things can just move very quickly, and it was just kind of January. We were having, I mean, the club wasn't doing great. We weren't in a great position, and the club was kind of scrambling to kind of find a way to not get relegated, because that was obviously one of the main fears of the club. And I had a meeting with the new coach because the older coach got fired, and he basically said, "Hey, look, like right now we have a very big squad. We have a lot of numbers, and you're not going to be involved in training. So I think it's best that you look for a move in January." And obviously, like I really appreciated that he came to me and said it. Like he was very honest and transparent with me. So then from then on, it was just kind of looking for clubs, and it was, I mean, a very difficult situation in terms of just finding clubs because they obviously had a lot of other stuff to like think about, because me being not a crucial part of the team, and they had to focus on like a lot of other things. Basically it ended up to like deadline day in Europe. I couldn't find any clubs, and luckily the Scandinavian leagues, the transfer market stays open a bit longer.
Mm.
And then obviously this opportunity in Finland came about, and two of my very good friends are also here, Gabriel Sandberg and Damiano Pecile. So I thought it was the easiest option for me, in terms of just comfort. And also I saw that it was a first division team, and obviously any first division is going to be challenging, regardless of what country it's in. So I just saw it as like a very good challenge and a place that I can kind of springboard my career, in terms of just because I wasn't really getting many minutes in my early career, and I just was looking for a place that I could get minutes and compete and try to be a part of something. So obviously I was super excited about that. And then, I mean, I can't say enough good things about KTP since I've gotten here. It's definitely a lot better than I expected, in terms of just the level, the coaching staff, everybody around the club, my teammates. It's just been a very easy transition for me. But like I said in the beginning, now is kind of time to buckle down and try to really compete, and because I think our team has big goals for our team this season. So hopefully we can have a successful season, and that's not going to be easy. We know that, but I have faith in our team.
Yeah, and like you said, there is some old friends in KTP already when you came, Damiano Pecile and Gabriel Sandberg. So how is life with those guys in KTP? Do you hang out a lot in your free time?
Yeah, well, I'm actually roommates with Gabriel.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously it's been really nice to have him as a roommate, just kind of like a friend to have around, because living alone can get very lonely. And it's just kind of nice to have somebody to hang out with. And then obviously Damiano is coming over every day pretty much, and just hanging out with us. But to be honest, it's been really easy, because whenever you go to a new team, it's always kind of a transition period of getting to know the guys. So it was nice to kind of that I had like a group of guys close to my age, that I could kind of lean on, to just get that comfort level. So yeah, definitely. It made the decision a lot easier to come to KTP.
Yeah, and when we talk about KTP, everyone is saying that, about the coaching staff and from the team, everyone is saying that KTP is training really really hard. You have been training really hard this preseason. So has it been hard?
Yeah.
And if you compare it to Venice or Philadelphia, is it in the same level or something different?
Well, I mean, Philadelphia is a whole different conversation. Like, it's nowhere. Philadelphia, the training is nowhere near to as hard as it is in Europe. But to be honest, Venice preseason was pretty challenging as well, because we had a Croatian coach, and he was pretty crazy as well, in terms of just the running load and stuff. But I'm a player, like, I like to be challenged during training. So yeah, the trainings have been very, very challenging this preseason. Um, and and I mean, the coaching staff is very crazy, but it's a good crazy though. Like, it's not like they're very methodical of when they show their craziness, is if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely I've really liked it, because I mean, that was always the problem that I kind of had, like, especially like not being a big part in Venice. You're kind of put to the side, and you end up going home after training not feeling like you did enough, and coming home from training here, you literally can't move. Like I come home from training and I'm lounging the rest of the day. So yeah, it's definitely been nice. But yeah, hopefully it kind of shows throughout the season, like, kind of our fitness level, because this preseason was very, very, very challenging. But it's always good. I think it's the coaches managed to keep a good relationship with the team, and you don't really have any because usually sometimes when you do too much running, you get pretty mad at the coaching staff, and these guys, like, you're just like, all right, well, that's just them. And they really, like, express, like, how they, like, before every training, they're like, yeah, it's going to be hard, but you guys are going to get better from it. And I really get this feeling that like we're like a team and we all want to like get better instead of kind of like what it is in Italy where it's just kind of like coach is like the main general and then the players are just kind of all there's a degree of fear there. And that's always good to have. But I think just for me personally, I always like having a more personable relationship with the coaches. It just makes me feel more comfortable and makes me want to really fight for them on the field. So I think they've definitely found a great balance there.
Yeah, and as we know, Jussi Leppälahti, the head coach, is his first year in the top tier in Finland. But how would you describe him? You already said that he's a bit crazy, but but
Yeah,
how would you describe him?
yeah. Um, well, he's very, very passionate about his job. You can really tell that he really puts in the hours when we're not training, just studying the game, studying our team, studying other teams, getting ideas um, from other games. So, I mean, I really, really admire how serious he takes his job, and he's also very, very motivational, which is always good to have, especially a team that's, I guess, when I came here, I guess the word for it is an elevator team, a team that goes up and down. And I feel like he's kind of the guy that's going to push us to the higher levels so that we're not an elevator team, if that makes sense. So that we can actually really start competing for Europe spots and stuff like that. So I mean, definitely, I'm very impressed with him. And even though he's and I've been saying this to the team, like, and we talk about it like in the apartment, like I think he could coach anywhere. I think it doesn't it the where he's at, coaching in the Veikkausliiga, I don't think that's a great representation of what he's capable of, because honestly I think the sky's the limit with him, like in terms of just the way he operates and the way he coaches. I think it's something that I've really never seen before in my career. So definitely very happy to have him, and I think he really can help me take my game to the next level. And not just him, I think also the assistant coach. The assistant coaches have also been very helpful as well. Just trying to get everybody to play the best that they can, whether that's the starters or even the players that don't see the field as much. I'm really happy about it, and I'm excited to keep working with them.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts about training and playing on artificial grass? Is it familiar with you, or is it something new?
Well, when I was younger in the academy levels, I feel like that goes for like a lot of countries. Like you kind of get used to playing on artificial grass, but the last, I mean, since I've signed for Philadelphia, it's just kind of been all grass. Um, so, I mean, obviously, I don't think it's a secret there that grass is better than artificial grass. But that's just something that you kind of have to adapt to, and it's something that I'm still adapting to now. Just the difference in the game, like it's you play a little bit of a different game when you're playing on artificial grass and real grass. I feel like the game isn't as fluid. It's a little more choppy. Um, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I just think it's different.
Mm.
So I mean, if I had to pick, obviously I would pick natural grass, but I know it's impossible to grow good grass in Scandinavia. So I just have to adapt again. Um, and and obviously that's going to take some time, but I feel like I'm already getting a little bit more used to it. And everybody's playing on the same field anyway, so it's not really an excuse anyway. But yeah, I don't really see it as that big of a problem.
Yeah. So Now if we look to your KTP squad, KTP team, how would you describe it? You've been here in Finland for like a few months already, 4 or 5 months now, so you know the team and you know the league already a bit.
Hmm. To be honest, what I've noticed so far is it's very competitive. I mean, I've played against a good deal of teams in the league now, and I don't see that big of a difference from the top to the bottom. I feel like the level is very competitive. Um, but I think our team can do something quite special this year, because I think just the talent that we have in our squad. And I don't want to. I mean this in the least arrogant way possible, because I know it's a very competitive league, and you can't really get too ahead of yourself. But I think we can do something this year, and it's going to be tough. And obviously, the start hasn't been kind of what we wanted. But yeah, we're still figuring things out. It's still early in the season, so I'm very impressed with the level of our team, and I think if we fix a few things, we can really like make a good run in this league. Um, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, I've only played one and a half Vegas Liga games, and it's been different than the cup games that I played, in terms of just the competitiveness and just the intensity of the games. But yeah, so far I've been impressed for sure. Um, but I think it's also good for me, because the level I feel like is a good level to improve, where I can improve. The level, obviously, it's not the Premier League, but I don't see myself as a Premier League level. So I think it's a great, I guess, stepping stone for my career, and it's some place where I can really um, get improvement and see improvement in my game.
Uh, how would you describe the role you're playing at the moment in the team? Because as we know, like you've been playing sort of a wingback, or I'm not sure if wingback is the right word for it, but tell us
Mm-hmm.
about that a little bit, because you've been playing like different roles this season already.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like, depending on what team we play, it always changes. But right now, I would say I'm more of like a right midfielder.
Mm.
Um, but I think that can also change, like, just because I feel like I'm a very attacking player, so I would like to kind of get the ball a little bit higher up the field. But I also think our team is very set up for build up play, and I think I need to come back to to help the build up. And I'm trying not to give too many, I guess, secrets away of kind of like what our tactics are this season. But yeah, I would say just a right midfielder, slash right winger slash right wing back type thing. Um, yeah.
And do you think, are you happy how you have been playing in those minutes you had, or what are those things that you need to improve still?
Well, I mean, I could go all day long on things that I need to improve on. But I think definitely I could be doing more. I was very disappointed with my last game that we had against, um God, who was it against?
Coops.
Coops,
Yeah.
Coops. Yeah. I mean, I thought they were a good team. Like, they obviously did their homework on our team. Um, and they had a good setup for our attacking line, especially in terms of the man marking. Um, but I think that's something that I still need to improve on, is just playing well against different setups, because obviously there's some games that I'm going to do better just because of the way that the game is set up. And I think in terms of a maturity level, the best players can play well against whatever team, whatever way that they set up. So I think definitely that's something that I can improve on, is just the consistency against different setups. And then also, I just think from a goal scoring perspective, I think I need to be scoring more goals. I mean, our team has gone 2 games now without scoring a goal, and that's obviously uh, a red flag, I guess, especially since I feel like they were 2 home games, and I feel like at home you should be dominating most of the attacks, and I feel like our team has gotten some chances. Um, but for me, I think I could be playing a little bit more direct, and I guess not really beating around the bush in terms of just sometimes I feel like I play the easy pass, or I play the wrong pass instead of just playing the pass that's going to get a goal, if that makes sense, or shooting, or or stuff like that. And I mean, I guess the last thing that I need to do is just execution. I was injured for 2 weeks or so before the season started. So, and I didn't touch a ball because I basically just shut myself down trying to get healthy. So I guess that consistency in my execution also needs to improve. But yeah, hopefully it does as the season goes on.
Yeah, and we in the first game we saw this crazy free kick from you, which almost went in, but didn't.
Yeah.
Is that
Mhm.
something you want to do, and how much do you practice those kind of free kicks?
Funny story, actually. That was the first time I took a shot since I had gotten injured. So that was 2 weeks without taking a shot. So I guess that was, I want to say it was a fluke, but I feel like my shot is one of my strengths. So hopefully I can kind of score one of those throughout the season. I know that's quite ambitious because it was pretty far out, and it was a very low percentage shot, but I was just kind of feeling it. So I went for it. But no, I don't really, from that range. I don't know how many players ever practice from that range. Obviously, sometimes I practice ones from closer, from the right side, but I don't know. That was just something that kind of came up in the moment. I was just feeling good, so I kind of just went for it. But yeah, I can kind of get one of those throughout the season.
Yeah, let's hope. So
Yeah.
as we know, the loan agreement is until June, I think, and then it's done, or is it? What do you think about it now? I mean, Nico Ikavalko in last game interview, he said that a lot depends on you also, not
Hmm.
just like Venice or KTP.
Hmm. Well, I think it's too early to say right now. Right now, thinking about it, I feel like I would want to play here the rest of my career, but a lot can change, uh, depending on, I guess, where Venice is at, because they're obviously in a battle for. Uh, they're doing well now. They won their last game, but yeah, it all kind of just depends on how the team's doing, how my performance is doing, and kind of where I see um, is the best logical step. But right now, I'm really just trying to figure out, like, or not trying to figure out, just really trying to focus on how well here and just taking it week by week, because I can't really look too far into the future now, because, as I said earlier, a lot can change really quickly. Um, and especially for a young player that doesn't really have much security in his career, in terms of just the fact that I'm just starting out and stuff like that. I'm just trying to build my resume as best as I can, and kind of just seeing where it goes up from there. Um, but I think right now, I think Nico said it perfectly. I think it just is. It's up to me, and it's also just kind of up to what happens in the next upcoming months. I really couldn't tell you, to be honest, but we'll see.
We'll see about that. So
Mhm.
this Saturday, the third game, and it's a home game again. You play against EFK. You faced EFK in the League Cup, and so it's a familiar team to you, but also like you said, these are different games. League Cup to if we compare to Veikkausliiga. So what can we expect on Saturday?
Well, obviously, I think it's one of those games. Any time we're playing at home, I feel like it's a place that we would want to pick up points. So I think you can expect definitely a more attacking approach, because I think against Goops, I thought we played a little bit too conservative, if that makes sense, just in terms of getting chances. So I think definitely from an attacking standpoint, definitely more attacking, and then hopefully I can have a better performance as well. Just in terms of just creating more chances. But seeing the team this week, seeing the morale that's going on, I think definitely it's one of those games where we all have kind of agreed that it's a game that we want to pick up points. And no disrespect to EFCO at all. I mean, they were a tough game in the cup. But I feel like it's a game that if we want to do well this season, it's one of those games that we need to be winning, especially at home. So yeah, hopefully you can expect a win, but I don't want to sound too in that.
Yeah, well, we see that on Saturday, and I will be commentating
Yeah.
that game, so I'll see you then. But now at this point,
Okay.
I want to say thank you for your time, for being here in
Yeah. Thank you for
Keskiympyrä.
having me.
Yeah, it was nice to
Hmm.
hear your story, and nice to hear that
Hmm.
you're enjoying your time in KTP, and also say hello to Gabi as well.
Okay. I will. I will.
All right. Hey, thank you, Jack, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Iso kiitos vierailusta Jack de Vriesille Keskiympyrässä. Oli mielenkiintoinen juttutuokio kyllä hänen kanssaan, ja paljon tosiaan Kotkassa hänestä odotetaan, tai häneltä odotetaan tehoja, ja ensimmäinen mahdollisuus, tai seuraava mahdollisuus näihin tehoihin on nyt lauantaina IFK Mariehamnia vastaan, ja mielenkiintoista kyllä nähdä, mitä sitten tulevaisuus tuo tullessaan, saako Kotka hänet pidettyä loppukauden ajan vai siirtyykö hän sitten kesällä takaisin Venetsiaan, mutta sen aika näyttää meille. Tässä oli kuitenkin kaikki Keskiympyrän Anti tällä kertaa. Ei muuta kuin oikein paljon kiitoksia seurasta ja palataan jälleen ensi kerralla. Nyt en muuta kuin moi moi!